Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Powell plot thickens. Less than 24 hours after veteran parliamentarian Philip Powell reported that his 10-month-old daughter and her mother had gone missing, his partner entered the fray, denying that she had anything to do with the suspected abduction. Hours later, a social media post claiming to be that from the woman, who the police identified as 27-year-old Shoshana Patterson, said she and little Powell were not missing. However, up to press time, the police were still reporting the two as missing, while reporters claimed the post was fake. The saga surrounding Powell, the Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal, started to deepen on Sunday morning when his partner of several years, Leoja Bradshaw, issued a statement in which she denied having anything to do with the disappearance of Patterson and the baby girl. "The only interaction I have ever had with Miss Patterson is through a brief Facebook exchange," said Bradshaw in the statement. "I have never spoken to her by phone, nor have I made any arrangements to meet with her. Any such reports in social media are lies and will be passed on to my lawyer for action to be taken in the days ahead," said Bradshaw, who is an attorney based in the United States. "I have shared all information I have with the authorities, and I hope their investigation will lead to the safe return of Miss Patterson and her baby girl," added Bradshaw. She later told reporters in a telephone interview that claims Patterson received a call from someone purportedly to be her and saying they wanted to meet the baby should be investigated. "I have never spoken to this woman, and we've never met. How do you pick up yourself, and why would you meet with a stranger you don't know?" added Bradshaw, as she noted that reports were that Patterson was picked up in a gold van by a male driver who was wearing a dark shades. "Why did you mention my name? My information was not public knowledge," added Bradshaw. In outlining the sequence of events surrounding Powell, who sits on the opposition benches in Parliament, Bradshaw said in May their 8-year-old daughter was sent sexual explicit photos, which was later followed by email threats and extortion attempts. She said the matter was reported to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Broward County Sheriff Department Internet Crime Against Children in the U.S. They later reported the matter to the Jamaican authorities. "The threat against our child continued for months as the authorities investigated," stated Bradshaw. She added that on Sunday, September 3rd, an email was sent out making threats that personal information on Powell would be released to the public. "They also made damning threat against our child," stated Bradshaw. According to Bradshaw, on Tuesday, September 5th, she received an email from an address which is being withheld by the reporters, indicating that Patterson had a child with Powell. "I spoke to Philip, and he confirmed that he had a brief relationship with Miss Patterson, and it is possible that the child was his, but he was not certain as a DNA test had not been done," stated Bradshaw. "This was the first time I was hearing about Miss Patterson and the child," added Bradshaw. She said she sent Patterson a message on Facebook Messenger advising her that Powell had opened up to her about the involvement and the possibility that the child was his. "I advised her that Philip and I would ensure that the child is taken care of financially, and a DNA test would be done to ensure that Philip was the father of the child. As can be seen from my exchanges with Miss Patterson, there was no anger, but just a genuine wish to see that an innocent child is taken care of and not caught up between two parents no longer in a relationship," stated Bradshaw. She added, "I continue to work with the local and U.S. authorities to get to the bottom of the threat against my family, in particular our young daughter. I will continue to pray for the safe return of Miss Patterson and her baby and ask anyone with information to contact the police." St. James alleged serial killer slapped with 2 more charges. A St. James resident who allegedly admitted to committing several murders in the parish's capital was on Saturday slapped with 2 more murder charges. 25-year-old Ronaldo Ricketts of Westgate Hills in Montego Bay, St. James, who was on Thursday charged with the murders of 2 homeless men, now faces additional charges for the killing of an unidentified female and a 3rd male. The woman, who remains unidentified, was found with stab wounds on Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in the parish about 12:15 a.m. on Friday, July 28. Her body is of dark complexion, slim build, about 5 feet 6 inches long, and has black and grey hair. The woman appears to be in her 60s. Her body was clad in a white blouse and multicolored skirt. On Wednesday, August 9, 20-year-old Leonardo Lewis, otherwise called Raheem or Akeem, of Breadfoot Road, Catherine Hall in the parish, became Ricketts' latest victim after he was found by residents with stab wounds about 10:55 p.m. on Church Lane. The police were summoned and Lewis was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. More information will be provided as the investigation progresses into these heinous crimes. Curfew imposed in Homestead, St. Catherine, 7 persons of interest named. The police have imposed a 48-hour curfew in a section of Homestead in St. Catherine North Police Division. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Sunday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Deadly gang feuds have gripped the Spanish Town community in recent years. The police say during the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises for 48 hours unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. The boundaries of the curfew are north from the intersection of 41 Old Harbour Road, Church of God of Prophecy, traveling along the perimeter wall about 400 meters to Vazel Road. East, traveling along an imaginary line going across Vazel Road at 600 meters to Lawrence Drive. South, end of the eastern boundary, traveling at Lawrence Drive about 300 meters to Old Harbour Road. From the intersection of Lawrence Drive and at Old Harbour Road Main, about 500 meters to the starting of the northern boundaries. Meanwhile, the police have listed several individuals as persons of interest they say are linked to the number of major crimes, including murders and shootings in and around the community of Homestead. They are Javon, otherwise called Bossy, Keena Johnson, otherwise called Topman, Clayton Simpson, otherwise called Clanks, Chargy, Jahil Campbell, otherwise called Blanks, Ian Simmet, otherwise called Underbob, Orville Reed, otherwise called Grubber, a man known only as Drugger. The St. Catherine North Police say they are assuring the public that all information shared will be handled with the utmost confidentiality. Anyone with information can make an anonymous report to Crime Stop at 311 or National Intelligence Bureau tip line at 811 or call the nearest police station. 8 guns seized in St. Anne. The St. Anne police have disclosed that a total of 8 firearms were seized in the parish on Sunday afternoon. The weapons were discovered in a house that was occupied by a man who died of natural causes on Saturday. According to the commanding officer for the parish, Superintendent Police SSP Dwight Powell, police officers proceeded to the house at Content District when the weapons were discovered. We proceeded to the premises that was previously occupied by a man named Mr. Peart. During our operation at the premises, 1 revolver affixed with 6 live cartridges and 7 locally manufactured firearms were recovered from the premises. One of these locally manufactured weapons had a 9mm cartridge affixed to it, SSP Phillips stated. I just want to assure the residents of St. Anne that we continue to work assiduously to rid our parish of illegal firearms. We continue to do what is absolutely necessary to ensure that law and order is maintained in the jurisdiction, he stated. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell